And the Indiana Fever done goofed by choosing an Exi Hall over her. They really, really did. And
that is a bold claim, and it hits on a nerve that has been vibrating through WNBA circles all season long. The Indiana Fever, by choosing one path, may have fundamentally misunderstood the value sitting right in front of them in the form of Sophie Cunningham.
Sophie Cunningham is right to be so pissed off at this stage, because she just came out with 20 points yesterday.
20 points in a single game on the kind of shot selection that would make most coaches sweat. That is not just a performance, that is a statement. Yet the narrative around Cunningham often feels detached from this kind of reality, almost as if she is fighting a reputation that was cemented years ago.
This one, they were up by 30, and in the minutes where Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell did not play together, they were 41 points. They were plus 41 without the two of them on the floor, which is crazy, which is why Ty Harris and Sophie Cunningham was plus 30 something.
The math on the floor is the real kicker here. We are looking at a plus-minus differential that suggests something is seriously off with the team's chemistry, or at least the way minutes are being allocated. When you have players putting up plus 41 performances off the floor, you have to ask why the starters aren't seeing that same level of efficiency.
And everybody wants to shit on Sophie because of, for whatever reason, that they think she's the damn Anna Kournikova of the league, which she probably is.
This brings us to the Anna Kournikova of the league argument. It is a lazy comparison used to dismiss legitimate skill under the guise of aesthetic bias. But when you look at the actual output, that comparison crumbles. Fame might bring the eyes, but it does not make the shots go in.
But, yeah, look, Sophie Cunningham has been a elite shooter for her entire career. And this is the best she's ever been. Like,
let's get into the hard data, because this is where the conversation usually goes quiet. We aren't talking about empty stats, we are talking about elite efficiency. When you reach that 50-40-90 club, you are entering rarefied air. It is a benchmark of precision that few players in the history of the sport have touched, let alone maintained.
Lads, only two living human beings have had 50-40-90 in the WNBA. That is Elena Deladon and Fee. She is this close to being the third person to ever shoot 50-40-90. And
only two people have ever managed that feat in the WNBA. Cunningham is standing on the doorstep of being the third. When you look at her season as a whole, it isn't just a fluke shooting night, it is a consistent pattern of high-level play. Why is this conversation not dominating the discourse? That is the question we are going to unpack.
Before this, but let's take a look at her game logs. Like, Sophie Cunningham, as a bench player, had a run of 17, 2, 11, 11, 15, 8, 2, 8, 11, 24, 12, 13. Like, this is a bench.
Look at those game logs. That is not the production of a bench player. That is the production of someone who is being severely underutilized. If she were starting and getting the volume she deserves, what would those numbers look like? We are talking about a player who can pivot from an 8-point night to a 24-point explosion without blinking.
Like, it's not really up for debate because, again, Salon has been exceptional. She has been exceptional, but Sophie has been everything anyone could ask for at half a max.
Janelle Salon is absolutely the frontrunner for 6th Player of the Year, and she deserves every bit of that praise. But if you are looking at the overall value, the sheer impact on the court for the price being paid, you cannot ignore the disparity. Cunningham is delivering near-max value on a contract that tells a completely different story.
Not good enough. She doesn't deserve any of these opportunities. First of all, she's a big enough name. She plays for the Fever, it helps. And she's the one player on the Indiana Fever that has gone out of her way to take advantage of the stardom that comes from playing for the Indiana Fever.
There is a perception that she is just a beneficiary of the Indiana Fever media machine, but that ignores the agency she has exercised. She has actively built her own platform. While others have coasted, she has capitalized on the momentum. The criticism that she sucks or doesn't deserve the opportunity isn't just wrong, it's statistically illiterate.
Yeah. How many teams does Sophie Cunningham start for? She doesn't start for the Lynx. Okay. She starts for the Aces over Steph Talbot. Her and Chachi are probably the same player for the Valks. She's definitely, I think she should start for the Wings. She wouldn't start for the Wings, but she should start for the Wings over.
Think about the construction of rosters across the league. She is a plug-and-play asset for almost every single team. You slot her into the starting lineup for the Sparks, the Sky, the Sun, it doesn't matter. The impact remains consistent. She is a top 50 player in this league, yet the compensation suggests something far more modest.
And they're not paying her like she's the 45th best player in the league, especially as a UFA. And the fact that the Indiana Fever chose Lexi over her is wild. Like, I don't get it.
This brings us to the core issue, the Fever's decision to favor Lexi Hull over her. Age is a factor in rebuilding, sure, but when you are signing short-term contracts for unrestricted free agents, the focus should be on the immediate impact. Lexi is younger, but are they actually building for the long term, or are they just managing the current optics?
But when you're giving players 1-2 year deals as unrestricted free agents, youth means nothing. Like, age means nothing when you're giving short 1 to 2 year contracts on unrestricted free agents.
When you look at the structure of these 1 to 2 year deals, the age argument becomes a distraction. If you aren't committing to the long term, then you should be playing the best available player. By choosing to go in a different direction, the Fever essentially chose to ignore proven production in favor of hypothetical potential.
She took a massive pay cut, and they went and rewarded her by trading her. But yeah, look, she's someone that's shown that she will take team-friendly deals, but like, I don't think she's taken a team-friendly enough deal to stay in the Fever.
The loyalty displayed by taking a team-friendly deal should have been rewarded, but instead, it was met with a trade. Now, looking ahead to the next season, the instability within the organization feels even more pronounced. With the future of major stars in doubt, the strategy of sidelining reliable veterans looks increasingly like a massive miscalculation.
Especially because the odds of Caitlin Clark staying is sub 50% next year. It is sub 50.
If the star talent doesn't stay, the current trajectory of this roster faces a hard reset. So tell me, was the decision to prioritize potential over the proven veteran efficiency of someone like Sophie Cunningham worth the risk, or has the Fever front office set themselves up for a fall next season? Drop a comment below with your take, and make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the state of the league.